Hello again everyone and welcome back to Skyblock News. I'm your host Derailious and today we have a pretty big update on the Alpha Network, the Harvest Feast event. Before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe and use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order. Without any further ado though, let's get started. Let's start by going over the basics of the Harvest Feast event. Every single Skyblock year, from the months of early autumn until late autumn, you will be able to head over to Feast Chef Ted in the hub and participate in the Harvest Feast. When you click on him, there will be 3 crops at the top that will be in season, and these will change every Skyblock month, so for a normal event, there will be a total of 9 crops that enter their in-season period. When a crop is in season, there are 2 extra things you can get from it. Seasoning, which we'll go over in a minute and has a 1 in 2250 drop chance, and a special rare item for that crop specifically that changes for every single crop and is a 1 in 18,000 drop. Also, when you hover over the in-season crops, it states when the crop will be in season, which is notable, and you can see when the other ones will be in season by hovering over them in the menu on the bottom. When you earn seasoning from the in-season crops, they will automatically be deposited into the Harvest Feast communal stew, and you will make progress towards your feast milestones. Normally, there won't be a grand feast going on, there will be a Harvest Feast, and it will have 5 milestone tiers, going all the way from 5 to 25, 75, 150, and then 250 donations. When it's a regular Harvest Feast, the only reward at every tier will be a Celestial Mason jar, with an additional reward of a commemorative mason jar at the maximum tier, so normally it'd be 5. When you get a Celestial Mason jar, you will notice it's a Mixin. This gives you plus 3 Magic Find, 5 Tracking, 3 Global Wisdom, 15 Farming, Foraging, and Mining Fortune. And you can earn 5 of these per Skyblock year at the very least, but there are ways to get more, notably the Grand Feast and a new Carnival perk. So fundamentally, the event is going to be fairly simple. You're going to be going around, you're going to be farming the in-season crops, which you can see in this menu, and you are going to be getting seasonings as well as rare drops. We're going to go over the rare drops in a second, but I want to make it very clear that this is a very simple event on its face. You're just going to be farming, and you're going to be getting extra rewards for doing so in the form of these mix-ins, which should last you more than enough time until the next Skyblock year where you can get more. Note that you can also pick these up on the bazaar if you want to on a main profile, so that is added reason that if you're on a main profile, you don't need to participate every single year, and even if you're on an Iron Man, as long as you're not playing the game for 150 hours a week, realistically you shouldn't have to participate in every single event fully to stay topped up on these mix-ins. As you can see in my inventory, I have all of the rare drops from every single crop in the game. These are all a 1 in 18,000 from every single crop respectively, going from carrot zest over to designer coffee beans, cactus flowers, and deep fries. Now we're going to go over the new items associated with these rare drops. Let's start out with the carrot zest, which rarely drops from carrots. When you use 32 carrot zest as well as a carrot bait, you get the poignant carrot bait, which can be consumed while on the garden to attract a certain carrot craving visitor. Now this allows you to get the Carrot King avatar to visit, and this guy is interesting. The number is bugged, so don't freak out, but he asks for a lot of enchanted golden carrots as well as a lucky clover, and in return you get a poignant lucky clover as well as a bunch of farming XP and copper. Now if I take a look at Centauri, we can see what the poignant lucky clover does. And as you can see, the poignant lucky clover is right here. It grants you 13 magic find. However, this will be changed apparently after the magic find rework, and it will be reworked to give you a higher chance to get rare crop drops. So stuff like, for example, the carrot zest in the first place. In terms of the other carrot zest related drop, we have the carrot colored vinyl set. You can fill it with any 5 pest vinyls, and once full, you may gift this to a visitor to charm them. These charmed visitors can give better rewards next time they visit. It costs 15 enchanted oak logs, as well as 9 carrot zest. When you fill up the vinyl bag and you hand it to a visitor, and the next time they visit you, they give you that extra drop, well, that extra drop is going to be Visitor's Gratitude. You can turn this into a talisman, as well as a ring, and then eventually an artifact. This makes it so that visitors appear 1, 3, and then 5% faster while you're in the garden. And it does cost quite a bit of visitors' gratitude, as you can see, 16, 8, and then another 5, so relatively expensive there. Next up, we have the Feast Fungus. This is rarely dropped from mushrooms. And as you can see, you need 12 Feast Fungus as well as 3 enchanted brown mushroom blocks to get a fragranced brown mushroom paste. You can give it to a visitor for no reward and scare them off for 24 hours, with a maximum of 2 visitors. Using 128 Feast Fungus as well as 98 enchanted red mushroom blocks gets you the ability to get the Fungal Tip Jar. You can give it to Sam to permanently unlock a tip jar that visitors can tip copper in. And as you can see, I already have it down. I have no copper here. I got a few visitors to come through, and none of them are giving me copper. But I imagine this is pretty cool for people who want some additional copper. The next rare drop on our list is the Salted Sunflower Seeds. Now, you're able to use these alongside some Enchanted Packed Ice and some Enchanted Blaze Powder to get the Sunflower Butter. You can combine 9 of these at the Thaumaturgist to permanently unlock the Buttery Power. And at 2k magical power, it gives you 111 bonus attack speed, 123 speed, and has a unique power bonus of 5 bonus attack speed. I don't really know why you would use this too much, other than a really niche use case we'll get into later. The next recipe is the Buzzy Bees Fantabulous Disco Destination. This you need a lot of bot root for, which is the item you get from Netherwart, as well as sunflowers. Notably, you need a jukebox and 3 cheese bites, so a pretty expensive recipe all things considered. But this can be placed in your garden and filled with pest vinyls. Pests will spawn within 10 blocks of this if their pest vinyl has been placed in this. So basically, what you can see on our garden right now is a disco destination. If I filled this up with every single pest vinyl, and I was doing a bunch of farming, all the pests would spawn right here. It's very, very nice and extremely strong for pest farmers. No more running around like a lunatic looking for your pests. It should be way, way easier. Next up, we have the Cornucopia, which drops rarely from wheat during the Harvest Feast event. This can be combined with some fine flour in order to get the not very moldy bread. Consume to boost your farming wisdom for 60 minutes, keep this item in your inventory to increase the bonus up to 30 farming wisdom, at which point the item evolves. And as you can see, this ends up turning into the very moldy bread. So when you fully max it out, you can consume it to grant +1 permanent farming wisdom, and you may consume 5 of these in total. Very, very nice to see another time-based item here. Taking a stack of cornucopias and a farm crystal will end up getting you the Cornucopia Crystal. You can place it on your private island, and when placed down, farming minions will work 10% faster, and for each unique farming minion placed down, they will work an additional 1% faster. This is pretty interesting and might be used in some niche little combinations of minions, but I imagine it won't be too powerful. Let me know your thoughts on this item down below. Designer coffee beans are next, and you can take 32 of them as well as a devourer in order to get 8 cocoa leech shards. These give you the attribute Groovy Radar, in which pests have up to a 25% chance at tier 10 to drop a second vinyl. Very, very interesting. There's also the recipe of Bug Blender. You need 3 enchanted paper as well as 8 designer coffee beans, and this gives you Bug Blender. You grant yourself 20 farming fortune when vacuuming pests. If this goes up to tier 5, which I imagine it does, you can get up to 100. And for reference, yes, you can get it all the way to level 5. The Agordian is next on our list and drops rarely from pumpkins during the Harvest Feast event. The first item you're able to make with it, with 64 enchanted sugar, a glass bottle, and 14 total Agordians, is the overpriced drink. This applies the overpriced reforge when combined with a farming tool, giving you 25 farming fortune, as well as the overpriced bonus, increasing the odds of finding a rare crop by 7%. With 2 polished pumpkins, 2 Agordians, 2 gloom gourds, and 2 squash, you can get yourself a turbo gourd, which allows you to apply to a farming tool, increasing all turbo crop 5 enchantments to turbo crop 6. But there's actually something else about this. There's an upgrade to this item, the enchanted turbo gourd, that you need 5 turbo gourds in total for. And when you get that, you can use it on a farming tool to upgrade all turbo crop 6 enchantments to turbo crop 7. So after getting my fungi cutter, for example, to that tier 7 enchant equivalent, it gives me 35 mushroom fortune and doesn't seem to have any special requirements in terms of the contests. I thought maybe a gold or platinum would be required here. Kind of nice that you don't need that. But yeah, this is definitely going to be something that you're going to want on a lot of your really nice tools. Floral Gelatin is next on our list and drops rarely from Wild Roses during the Harvest Feast event. If you take 128 Floral Gelatin as well as 64 Jelly, you can get the Royal Jelly. You use that cat to upgrade bee pets to Mythic Rarity. And here is the Mythic Bee Pet. I don't have it at level 100, so I do apologize, but at level 100, it gives you 160 Sunflower, Moonflower, and Wild Rose Fortune while in the garden. Definitely interesting, but not going to be beating stuff like the Rose Dragon, for example. Deep Fries are next on our list, which drop from Potato. And as you can see, if you get 12 deep fries, 8 sunflower oil, and 16 enchanted baked potatoes, you can get a hash brown. This applies the deep fried reforge when combined with a farming tool, granting you 20 farming fortune and increasing the odds of finding seasoning specifically by 25%. This is going to be very, very useful during the Harvest Feast. Crystallized Moonlight drops from Moonflowers during the Harvest Feast and can be converted with 16 Enchanted Endstone and 4 Crystallized Moonlight into the Moon Dew. This can be placed in a pest trap, granting you +5 tracking, and specifically attracts the Lunar Moth as well as the Field Mouse. The Lunar Moth is a brand new pest added alongside this update. It is an elusive pest, which is notable, and it has a bestiary maximum of 100. If I take a look at the drop rates for the Lunar Moth, we can see that it has as follows: Enchanted Sunflower, Enchanted Moonflower, Enchanted Wild Roses, and the Enchanted Book, Moonlit. Moonlit starts at tier 1 and goes all the way up to tier 5. It is an ultimate enchant for armor that makes it so your pest traps have up to 10 tracking, and visitors are 15% more likely to be legendary or higher. You can apply this to your entire Helianthus set if you want to, and you get up to 40 total tracking, as well as a 60% higher chance to get legendary or better visitors. Very, very strong. Definitely interesting. I do kind of wonder, though, if the pest traps having tracking could be better served elsewhere. I don't know if it works a ton on this set. I really do think they could go with something else entirely with that. I think the 15% higher chances of having legendary or better visitors is great, but that first part, not the greatest thing in the world. Let me know what you think about this, though, down below. Bot Root is a drop from Netherwar, and as you can see, you can take a total of 32 Bot Root and 1 Jacob's ticket in order to get the Jacob's Participation Medal. You can use this as fuel on 1 farming minion, and it will occasionally generate Jacob's tickets for 3 days. This is pretty cool. I do like this quite a bit. And next we do have the Fantabulous Disco Destination. We already went over this, so I won't cover it again, but yes, it does use Bot Root in the recipe, so you will need Netherwort as well as sunflowers in order to make this. Melon juice rarely drops from melon slices and can be used for a few things. The first is trunk polish. For this, you need 1 glass bottle, 128 melon juice, and 4 cream blooms, which is a mutation from the greenhouse. This allows you to upgrade elephant pets to Mythic Rarity. Note that in order to do this, you'll need 10 million total coins to upgrade the pet. And as you can see, the Mythic Pet gives you 20% bonus Sawdust while farming. Really, really nice. I do like this. Kind of wish that this was something built into the game, a way that you could get it from like an attribute or something. Don't love that it's on a pet, but I suppose it does make the elephant quite a bit more useful. In terms of another drop, there's the Melon Juice Mixin, which grants 15 farming fortune. To get this, you need 16 melon juice, 2 soggy buds, and a glass bottle. Relatively cheap recipe. Soggy buds are not that difficult to make. Melon juice will probably be the hardest part of this recipe to obtain. The farming fortune, though, is very nice, and it has an 86-hour duration. Second to last, we have the Cactus Flower, which drops from Cactus, and you can use these to get 2 new items. The Prickly Creeper for 64 enchanted gunpowder, 7 enchanted cactus, and 16 cactus flowers. This gets you the Prickly Creeper itself. When applied to armor, increases its thorns level by 1, and it does require thorns 3. Very, very funny. I do like this item quite a lot. Next, we have the Potted Cactus. In order to get this, you need 1 enchanted clay block, 1 enchanted cactus, 2 cactus flowers, and 1 thorn shade. And when you do that, you get 60 potted cactus You need to bring 3,000 of these to Carolyn in Scarleton on the Crimson Isle to permanently gain +5 health and 12 cactus fortune. You can't have an update without a Carolyn update. Finally, we have one that I've been saving for last. This is Cane Knot, and there is a lot more with this one than pretty much any other. First, we have the thermodynamic set of armor. In order to get this, you need 64 enchanted sugarcane per piece, as well as 32 cane knots and the speedster set. And it seems like speedster got a bit of a different recipe, unless I'm just losing it. I don't think it used to cost enchanted sugar. I thought it cost sugar cane, so it is way cheaper now. But what's interesting about this new armor set is that it gives you defense, bonus attack speed, and has a full set bonus that grants bonus attack speed. And this goes for pretty much every single piece of the set. There's nothing changing about the recipe here. But what's exciting about this is that it actually does something separate to what it states. It actually increases your cap of bonus attack speed, going all the way up to 150 now. So if I grab a Terminator, for example, with duplex or whatever else on it, you can see that I now fire extremely quickly. This is a very, very cool armor set. I don't know how useful it'll be. It's not something you can dungeonize, so it won't be that crazy in dungeons. But outside of dungeons, maybe people will find use for this in E-Man, in certain other activities. Bal, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of places this could be theoretically used. I love this armor set. I think it looks silly. It's one of those things that really brings me to think that Skyblock is so charming as a game. I love this armor set. Would love to hear your thoughts about this down below. That's not all, though. There are 2 other items you can get with these cane knots. If you get 32 cane knots as well as 512 enchanted sugar, you can get the unalloyed speed. This is a pet item that grants +50 max speed cap. Absolutely hilarious. Put this on a pet like Black Cat for dungeons, and I could see people going absolutely wild with this. I am very excited for cane knots specifically. There's also the speed relic here, 256 enchanted sugarcane, 1 speed artifact, and 64 cane knots gets you the speed relic. This is an epic accessory that grants you +1% bonus attack speed, +1 fishing speed, +1 mining speed, and 7 base speed. Really, really funny item. I love everything related to the cane knots. I think this just blows all the other ones out of the water. Just everything here is awesome, and I'm excited to see it all in game. So we went over all of the main Harvest Feast rewards. What else is there with this update? Well, if you head over to Finnegan, you may notice something different. He no longer has Peltpocalypse, instead he has Grand Feast. We'll go over what happened to Peltpocalypse later. For now, let's go over Grand Feast. Finnegan upgrades the Harvest Feast event into the Grand Feast, making it last a full Skyblock year. Also opens the Grand Bakery, where kernels can be spent on more exclusive items. So let's head back over to where we started and see what's up. The first thing you'll notice is that at Feast Chef Ted, there is not 5 milestones, there is a total of 9. You can get the Grand Commemorative Mason Jar if you max this out, and milestones 6 through 9 are 350 donations, 450, 550, and then 750. And if you look over here at all crops, you can see some will be out of season for multiple days, showing that this does indeed last for the full Skyblock year. This does also mean that during a Grand Feast, you get a total of 9 Celestial Mason Jars if you max out the event. You also get kernels at every single tier, going from 25 to 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, and then 225 additional kernels. Then, if we head over to Feast Baker Scott, who is the Grand Bakery NPC, we can see something else. You earn a kernel every time you donate a seasoning, which once again happens automatically during a Grand Feast. So you're going to be earning bonus kernels by just participating. With these kernels, you can pick up a bunch of new items. Notably, you will be able to pick up the Freshly Baked accessory line. Now this starts out as a talisman and makes rare crops 1% more common. This goes all the way up to 5% and is an heirloom, so you can upgrade it to Mythic by recombobulating it. This starts out at 25 kernels, then goes to 100, 250, 500, and then 1000. There's also Finn's Focaccia. This is a consumable with the effect of plus 5% rare crop chance and has a duration that lasts until the event ends, which is very nice to see. So you can pick it up at the beginning of the event, and you'll have it for a full Skyblock year. There's also a brand new enchanted book here, the Feast Book. This can be applied on a farming tool and makes rare crops 0.5% more common. And as you can see, you can upgrade this all the way to tier 5, making rare crops 2.5% more common at max. There's also 2 new contacts here, Ted's Contact Baked in Bread, as well as Scott's Contact Baked in Bread. Notably, if you consume the Ted's Contact, you will be able to call him to find out what in-season crop drops seasoning 10% more often, which is a nice bonus. There's also Scott's Contact. Having this contact will give you a 5% discount at the Feast Bakery, another really, really good thing to have. Also note that you will be able to call him seemingly whenever, so you may have access to the shop even when the event is not active. I'm not 100% certain about that, but having their contacts is very, very nice. And finally, we have the Bread Bowl. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It costs 10,000 kernels and can be gifted to another player to show your appreciation towards them. Back in the time of Helios, being gifted a Bread Bowl was seen as an immense honor. What does it do? Drum roll, please. Nothing. It does literally nothing. You can gift it to somebody, and it does absolutely nothing. It's supposed to be a fun, goofy item for you to give to your friends if you want to show your appreciation for them. I don't mind this. It's a nice sink for kernels. If you end up running out of other things to buy, which you probably will, eventually you'll run out of Feast books to buy. I am a big fan of items like this in Skyblock. I think they add to the community, so that is what the Bread Bowl does. Alright, so we brought up before that now Mayor Finnegan no longer has Peltpocalypse. Well, Peltpocalypse has been fully removed from the game. Talbot's shop, as well as the horse trapper animal, are now permanently available. And in addition to this, they've reworked and slightly buffed the Trapper's Crest. It's now upgrading an additional time, which is nice to see, and it also buffs the amount of pelts you get to compensate for the removal of the Mayor perk. I think they did a good job on this. If they're going to remove Peltpocalypse, totally fine, but add in those buffs back to the game, and they did do that. In fact, now it's going to be even better for pelt hunters than before, so W admins. Alongside this update, there are also 4 new carnival perks to help you out through your progression of the Harvest Feast. Natural Talent 1 through 5 gives you a +1 to +5% chance to find seasonings during a Harvest Feast. Fortunate Feasting gives you a 5 to 25 farming fortune bonus during a Harvest Feast. Feast Crashers 1 to 3 grants you 2 to 6 bonus pest chance during a Harvest Feast. And Leftovers 1 and 2 give you +1 and +2 Celestial Mason Jars if you reach the final donation tier. So that's right, when you fully max this out, you won't be getting 9, you will be getting 11 total Celestial Mason Jars when you have a Grand Feast active, and not 5, 7 Celestial Mason Jars during a normal Harvest Feast event. So you will have more than enough to last you every single Skyblock year. The team has also recategorized all hoes and axes used for farming into a new farming tool item type. They now share the same reforges and enchantments for simplicity's sake, and as a direct result of this, they've removed the Sunder enchantment from the game, as it was redundant with the functionality of the Harvesting enchantment, but for axes, so you can now apply Harvesting to your axes. And these are all the items characterized as farming tools. So there is quite a few things here. Pretty much all the tools that you would consider farming tools in the game have now been recategorized. This is pretty good. It's going to make it a lot more standardized in the future. And it also opens up the door to some more unique farming tools if the team ever wanted to make them. As a result of this, the Locust has gotten a brand new drop because previously it used to give Sunder 6. Now it gives you the Locust Larva, which can be consumed while on your garden to add +1 pest to your vacuum bag. So very, very nice to see. Heading over to the forums, Taylor can now show up on your garden as a mythic visitor starting at garden level 14. She'll offer the player one of 2 cosmetics, the fast food barn skin or the jelly greenhouse skin. If she's offering the barn skin, she'll ask for lots of deep fries, salted sunflower seeds, and enchanted baked potatoes. If she's offering the greenhouse skin, she'll ask for lots of floral gelatin, melon juice, and compacted wild roses. And here we have the 2 brand new skins. I've got to say, I'm a big fan of the fact that both of these skins are earnable in-game because they are both extremely nice. I like the fast food skin a lot, and I also love the jelly skin. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if it became a lot of people's favorites. It just looks absolutely incredible. Leave your thoughts about these down below because I love them. There are also a few farming Reforged Stone changes. The Blessed Fruit has had its stats moved from the current Reforge bonus to the base stats, which is an aesthetic change. There's also a new Reforge bonus that now grants a chance for you to drop enchanted crops when farming. It's relatively low, it's about 0.22% on my tools, it may be a little bit different on yours, but it is very nice to farm and get those dopamine hits. It basically works the same way as Compact. They fixed an issue with farming fortune stat being lower than intended for rare items with this reforge as well. The golden ball, they have moved the farming fortune from the reforge bonus to the base stats, an aesthetic change. A large walnut is now applied to farming tools. They buffed the farming fortune this reforge provides significantly, and they removed the base speed stats, so let's look into this. So as you can see, the large walnut gives you the earthy reforge, and it gives you 25 total farming fortune. So very, very nice. It's actually going to be somewhat usable in the early game. Finally, to cap off this update, we have some floating crystal changes. Floating crystals no longer have an effective radius. They apply their effect to your entire private island. They've adjusted the rarities for certain floating crystals, and all floating crystals now have a new and unique texture. So very, very cool. For example, in terms of that crystal change, here is the mining crystal, and it looks very, very nice. I've got to say, I did not expect another major farming update so soon after the greenhouse, but I am pleasantly surprised. There's a lot in this update to love, a ton of new charming features and items. I've got to say, it's definitely one of the most interesting releases that we've seen in quite a while, with some really cool item designs. I would love to hear what you think about this release down below, and I hope you enjoy the tracking Mixin. This is my perk, sort of, from the Minister perks during Aura, and I do apologize for not being in the exact way I initially promised. That is my fault, but I hope regardless that you guys do enjoy this. It's very exciting to see this in the game. Once again, would love to hear all of your thoughts down below, and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.